Hello there. This video will be about carpal tunnel, how to deal with it as a gamer, how I can still get top 100, top 10 scores on video games. My most recent one being Resident Evil Village Mercenaries, where I got a top 100 score, and it probably top 50 if you don't count hackers. There's a lot of hackers on that game. This video is carpal tunnel, how to deal with it, and how you can still be an awesome gamer with it. And we're going to go over three things in this. Going over hardware, hand management, device ergonomics. We're going over software, how to manage or make it even easier. And we're also going over awareness of severity and how to manage your injury. So for the first one, hardware, hand management, device ergonomics. Three things I think you should focus on most for this. Grip device, or your mouse, table position, sitting position, and adjustability for height and table. So I'll start with actually the table. I have an adjustable table. As you see, I have it a certain amount so I can get it just right where I want it to be. And this allows you to sit at the proper height and have your hands at the proper height, have your elbows at the proper height. Next, I have an adjustable chair. This, along with the adjustable table, makes it so that you can get the perfect height for sitting at the desk. That way, your hands are in just the right position to do what you need to do. Also, I should mention about the table. This table is specifically only for the keyboard and the mouse. There is nothing else at this table. Well, I usually put pretty much nothing else at the table. This is literally only for the keyboard and the mouse, just to have it just right to reduce my pain and suffering. And what you can do more than this is, not only do you have a table and you have all this space, so I usually when I'm gaming, I'll move this over more to the left and I'll have all this space over here for my mouse. And then I have this space for my keyboard, so I can move my mouse around as much as I need to. And I have everything, I have enough space to get everything exactly where I need it to reduce the amount of stress and pain and suffering. But most important to me is the mouse. It's an ergonomic mouse, so my arm is always sideways and normal, just the way you kind of would have your arm down if you were just resting it on the table instead of turning it over flat like that, like with a normal mouse. And so this reduces the amount of like twisting and torque and stress that you have on your wrist, and prevents long-term and even short-term damage. It only prevents it to so much of a degree. It's not a perfect solution, but I'll get into that later. I also have the side buttons, which is what I use for shooting and doing most of my stuff on the mouse. I don't really use these buttons much anymore. The side buttons here. These. I don't use these much anymore. I pretty much only use the ones on the side. So, what this does, reduce, minimize damage, or effort of use. Right? So when you're shooting, you use this one. When you're, I don't use this one to aim. Well, I'll get into that now. Software, how to manage or make it even easier. this. This is the next part to reducing the amount of stress. And what this does is it reduces the amount of stress and effort when pinching and gripping the mouse. Because when you're using a mouse, you are squeezing on it, right? You're squeezing on it, so you're pinching it, and your nerves will also be getting pinched and compressed when you do that, and they're also getting pushed against the table, and you're torquing your wrist around all the time to try to aim and stuff. So I use mouse hotkey settings to use the side thumb buttons to reduce the effort and stress on your bones and nerves. You want to reduce the amount of effort. Reducing the amount of effort will keep you healthy. It will reduce the amount of wear and tear that you put on yourself, and that will also reduce the amount of pain and damage you suffer short term and long term. And I use X mouse button control for this. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever you want. This is what I use for it. So you just go in here and you just set it right click, left click, right? I have this for visual novels. This isn't really for carpal tunnel, but that's not really important for this video. And so what I mean by that is I go in here. You have left click, right click. On a normal mouse, you usually have it more like this, more on the ground, and you're using left click and right click, and you're pushing down, and you're pushing your nerves down against the table, and you're pushing your fingers, and you're using all this force and resistance, and you're doing all these movements. They're not that big because they're just one finger, but they're still, compared to what I do, the movements are a lot. So I shoot to this one with the X mouse button control, and I do other stuff with this one, like I can open up options and stuff with this one. I can open up this stuff with this one, and it makes just general use easier. And that's with this one. That's right click. But what I'm also going to show you is when I'm in video games, I change things up. I go into my key bindings. And so for aiming, because when you aim, I have to switch the video. When you're aiming, you're using your right mouse button, your zoom or aim down sights. And when you're using your right mouse button, you're still going to be pinching, right? Because you're going to be pressing on this side and you're going to be shooting on this side. And so you're basically getting a very similar effect to if you had it down. If you had it down here and you're pressing down because you're pinching, and usually your mouse is more rounded and you're holding it on both sides, right? So you'll be holding this side and this side with your first two fingers here and your pinky over here. Usually like your pinky or maybe your ring finger or maybe your middle finger would be pressing on this one, right? And then your index finger will be pressing on this one. And that is a lot of pinch, that is a lot of grip, that is a lot of effort. And you're putting a lot of effort into using your mouse, and you want to reduce the amount of effort that you put on your nerves. You don't want your nerves to be always being irritated and pinched and attacked and damaged like that. So I take away this right mouse button for aiming. I don't use that for aiming. I have it written down here. To reduce the amount of pinch on the mouse being used, I've learned to change the aim button to a keyboard key. This reduces the amount of stress and effort when pinching and gripping the mouse, which adds to pinching the nerves. Alright, so if I go back to the other videos, and I show you here, I'm just using AimLab to show an example. You know, because in pretty much any shooter, especially the online ones where you really have to worry about this, you can go into your options and you can change your zoom, aim down sights. I switched it with sprint, and I switched sprint with cap locks. I'm still actually experimenting with the best possible way you could do it, and for everybody's a little bit different, so you're probably gonna have your own way. you're gonna want different buttons to use that are easier or just more natural for you. But for right now, this is like the best way for me. Um, so I'm zooming with my keyboard and shooting with the mouse. And what this means is I'm not pinching and gripping the mouse as hard. I'm just aiming and then clicking. I'm not using both sides of the mouse at the same time, which causes the pinch. I'm just using the one side to shoot. Um, so that's this. This is the software, how to manage and make it even easier after you get your ergonomic stuff. Right. And so the last one that you want to think about, which may be even one of the most important things, is awareness of severity, how to manage your injury. Don't play too much all at once. Take breaks. If you overdo it, then nothing can help. Have a little bit of self-respect, self-control, and healthy discipline, integrity, and restraint. Pay attention to how you feel when it hurts, how bad it hurts, and don't ignore it. Respect and love yourself. Take care of your body. Be honest with yourself. It hurts, and you can treat yourself right, heal, and rest. So that's pretty much all it is. You're playing a shooter all day long. You're playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, stuff like that. Um, you're trying to be like the best. Maybe you're playing like Smite or something. Hey, you wanna go in there. Maybe you're just playing with friends, or whatever it is. You're pushing yourself. You're putting a lot of effort into it, and you're really pushing yourself because you're just playing. You can't stop. You're addicted. You think like I'm getting better. I just need to play another match. I just need to get another. I just need to unlock one more thing. I just need to get another kill or something. Just just respect yourself. Pay attention to how you feel, and be honest with yourself. You know, take breaks. If it hurts, take breaks. Limit the amount of hours you play per day. Like, unless you're a professional gamer and you're actually getting paid to play and you're like on a team or something, or you're a streamer and you're actually getting like big donations or a lot of little donations and you have an actual following, then there's no reason to be pushing yourself that much. You're just hurting yourself. You want to have those things in place first before you really push yourself and break yourself, which you don't ever want to do. Um, so just make sure, be aware of the severity of damage. Be honest with yourself, and along with that, don't hold your cell phone up for too long. Don't hold the controllers up for too long. Don't mash for too long. And so there are some disclaimers with this video, and that is, doing these things does not completely eliminate or heal your carpal tunnel, but it can massively reduce the amount of pain and potential injury and make it more bearable long term and even sort of short term. In my opinion, this is what normal mouse usage should be like to prevent and minimize things like carpal tunnel. It doesn't make your pain go away overnight if you're already damaged. You still need to heal from the worst of it. However, it did massively reduce my personal pain over time. Eventually, it makes it much easier to bear. So what I mean is, if you already have carpal tunnel, if you already have the pain, and if it's already gotten really bad and you're scared, or maybe not scared, you're just worried that you might never get to play video games the same way again. If you already have that damage, there's only so much you can do about it. You're probably not going to ever be able to 100% reduce the pain all the way away. But in my personal experience, using the mouse like this, because I stopped putting so much stress and effort and I stopped hurting myself so much, and my nerves are being relaxed and not pushed to the breaking point all the time, uh, it massively reduced my personal pain. When I first got the mouse, it was still hurting pretty bad. I thought maybe this isn't gonna work. I spent a bunch of money for nothing. Um, I didn't spend that much money on it, but I was worried. I was like, this plan doesn't work. It just feels like maybe it's working a little, but that's because I was already damaged. My pain got really unbearable to the point where I was dropping my phone I cracked my phone twice. Um, Even if I would just sit there and watch TV, I was still in pain because I kept pushing myself. Um, I wasn't giving myself time to rest, and even when I did, I was just going back to the same damaging things over and over again. And so I was just causing the same pain to myself over and over again. And it wasn't getting better, it was just getting worse. And then if you mix that with how much I was working as a cook, um, hitting dishwashing, hitting prep cook, using a knife all the time, doing all that stuff, like just hours and hours of using knives or washing dishes, that stuff, it really breaks you down. And then you go back and then you use that mouse and your arm is twisted and you're doing pinching and gripping and you're just fucking yourself up. All right. So if you do this, it reduced my personal pain, but it didn't do it immediately. When I first got it, I was still hurting and it took time. But over time, it did reduce the amount of pain because I wasn't putting as much stress and I wasn't damaging myself as much. And it took a couple weeks before it started to really feel better, you know, because I was already damaged and I needed to heal. Now, and that's what it's going to be like for other people too. Um, it will take time to heal from how damaged you already are if you're already damaged, if you already have carpal tunnel. Now, if you're someone who's just looking to, if you're just preparing ahead of time and you're just thinking like, oh, I should watch this so that I know how to protect myself from getting really bad carpal tunnel, yes, this is still for you, right? This will reduce the amount of pain you get in the future as long as you don't overdo it, as long as you don't push yourself and hurt yourself. You know, this doesn't mean you can't just use this and then just play twice as much as you usually do because now you have nothing to worry about. Um, if you don't have carpal tunnel, honestly, you probably could play a little longer. It probably would increase your endurance, um, and it would reduce the amount of injury you would get from playing longer. But it won't prevent damage and it won't prevent suffering and pain, especially if you push yourself even more or think that you can just ignore it and nothing's gonna happen. But it will help. It really will. From my personal experience, I can say it really will help, and it does help. And my pain was so bad, and now I can play shooters for a couple hours at a time. I could probably play all day. It would really hurt, but um, I've already damaged myself, so it would really hurt if I did that. But you should take breaks. But I can play twice as long, three times as long as I used to, without the pain. And now I'm not hurting as bad all the time. It does help. It really does. So, in summary, how do you deal with carpal tunnel and still be an awesome gamer? One, get ergonomic stuff and do whatever adjustments you need to reduce effort and wear and tear. Two, get whatever software you need to make adjustments, and it's okay to change controls and options. Don't cheat or hack. Yeah, this isn't an excuse for getting scripts and aimbots and stuff. This isn't an excuse for that. Don't go online competitively and ruin other people's experiences because now you think you have some fake excuse to use aimbots. Like, oh, I just didn't want to hurt my hand, so I got an aimbot. No, that's not an excuse. That's not okay. What is okay is just make it better on yourself by being more ergonomic and being safer and being smarter. But going online and cheating is not cool. You still have to compete your skill against somebody else's. If you go online to play multiplayer video games, it's not a hacking competition. You're not going out to fight other hackers. You're going out to play other shooters and other gamers, right? So you have to pit your gaming skill against their gaming skill. And if you're going to use scripts and aimbots to do that, then you're a fucking loser. The last thing is pay attention to your pain and be honest about it. Breaks, respect yourself and your body. This is the number one, only real way to reduce your amount of pain. Because even if you do all the other stuff, if you just ignore all of your pain and think like, oh, I'll be fine, I can push through it, or, now I've got something ergonomic, so I don't have to worry. You have to be honest with yourself. If you feel like you're feeling pain, you have to be honest. You have to tell yourself, it's time to rest. I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to heal. I'm allowed to relax. That's the only way you're going to reduce your pain and not break yourself and be suffering all the time. Because if you don't do that, if you think you can just keep doing things and just push yourself through everything, you're going to suffer and it's going to suck. So don't do that. Be honest with yourself. Pay attention to your pain. Respect yourself. Respect your body and take breaks. Rest and heal as you need to. Don't push yourself. Don't play for too long. Play in bursts. Don't play too much every day. Treat yourself right. And that is it. So, if you thought that this stuff was helpful at all, I would really appreciate if you liked and shared. Um, so if you could get this out to other people who might benefit from this, that would really be awesome. Uh, Thanks so much for watching, and yeah.